Hey everyone, my name's Justin, and this is another Patreon request. This one is from Chris, so if you want to be like him and ask me to review something, go on to my Patreon and support me there. I really appreciate it. You could pick whatever you want for me to watch. I'm really up for anything, literally anything. Chris asked me to review Stolen Summer. I had never heard of this movie before, but apparently it was one of the movies that was produced from the TV show Project Greenlight. That's a TV series I had never heard of either. It was a show produced by Ben Affleck and Matt Damon, and basically teams would compete with their own screenplays to basically whoever won would get their screenplay made into a movie. This was the first of those, and yeah, I guess it kind of disappeared after that. It had a short theatrical run. I don't know if anybody really saw it at the time. Nobody has really seen it then, but apparently people liked the TV show if it went on for 4 seasons. I guess it had a revival later on even. Yeah, but finally saw the movie for myself, and yeah, you know what? I really enjoyed a majority of it, to be honest. It's basically the story of these two boys, one who's Catholic and the other who's Jewish. The Catholic kid, due to his church's own standing, believes that the Jewish people won't go to heaven, so he plans to convert one of them to Christianity in order to complete his mission. So what we have here is a film that analyzes religion from the view of a child, and I honestly think it's a smart premise.
But have you ever actually seen someone in heaven?
No.
I love movies that can talk about the issue of faith versus religion, especially something like this that can do it in a subtle manner. There's not a definitive answer about everything or picking a particular side. It's just giving you the situation and how these kids think so simply about the subject, how adults can unintentionally influence their children, and leaving it up to the viewer to take a look at their own stance.
But it does block bald spots.
When the kid tries to convert the Jewish kid, he does it by training him for a triathlon, which is great. I love that idea. It really encapsulates the childlike wonder these boys have. The main boy really reminded me of my own church-going days at a young age. I always had the questions about the specific rules, what parts of the Bible we listen to, and the dogma of religion. I have my own personal idea of what faith is and what religious groups do with faith, and I think this movie kind of sums it up for me.
I got my son asking me, is Jesus really the Son of God? He's 8.
Well, then it sounds like we're in this together. My son's asking why he can't make the sign of the cross before he prays to God.
Besides the main theme itself, it also has some great acting from the likes of Aidan Quinn, Bonnie Hunt, and Kevin Pollak. There's some really good subdued performances, and each gets a great scene-stealing moment. I don't think the child actors are particularly that great, but they get the job done fine enough. I never get distracted.
My dad says they play too much golf, and they charge like bastards.
It's set in the 70s, and I was surprised that for such a small budget, it managed to recreate the era in a nearly perfect way with the clothing and the sets. The music is nothing special, and there's other moments that feel a little cheap. I mean, it opens with text that uses Comic Sans font. I mean, that's pretty silly. And the ending can be considered manipulative, but in all honesty, I think it still works well as a way to challenge the character's beliefs, as do all of the dilemmas throughout. I think the father character played by Aidan Quinn is the standout performance of this movie. He can be a bit gruff and mean at times, but he also can be really nice and a good father. He wants to do it all himself. He's trying to prove a point. He doesn't want handouts from anyone. And there's a lot of personal convictions that you start to see played out in this movie. And the resolution is actually pretty unique. Usually in other movies, he would probably stay the way he is, or they would do something like 20 years later, he finally changes his ways. But actually, I think this movie handled it in a different way that may be simple, but hey, I don't see movies usually do it the way this one does. I don't know if this movie's for everyone. It definitely has a slow, TV-like quality to it. It's definitely the work of amateurs, but to be honest, the theme is so strong and powerful that I think it's worth watching, especially if you don't like the religious films that get too preachy or one-sided in their topics. I like a religious film that can get critical about the ideas of religion and faith. It's not too scathing, but it's definitely there. There's definitely some kind of topic in there. I enjoyed it for the most part, so if you're into films that can challenge your beliefs, I'd give it a watch. Thanks for watching the video. A special thanks to Chris and Ryan for supporting me on Patreon. If you'd like to join them in getting exclusive videos and blogs, early access, and even be able to request reviews monthly, then please click on the Patreon link, and thanks for the support. Do you like talking about movies just as much as I do? Well, check out the new podcast, Cinema Swamp. It's a podcast that stars me and my friend Hunter. We just started it, and we have a couple episodes on SoundCloud if you'd like to check it out. Please click on the link below and share it around. If you like it, we'll definitely be doing more in the future.